believe are the biggest agriculture and food and environment and energy issues impacting Lexington, and how do you propose addressing them?
Well, that's easy.
That's a huge question.
That was everything under the sun.
Basically, if you're on the spot, like
Yes.
yes. So, what do you believe are the biggest agriculture and food and environment and energy issues impacting Lexington, and how do you propose addressing them? I think it might be useful to start with ag and food.
I like that.
Yes.
Since they're
Let's
together
talk.
there.
Yes.
You know, there's that's the beauty of government is it continues to improve. Ideally, it continues to improve. And we really had no seed leaf base. I mean, we had nothing going on in that area in terms of what we grown, what we caught. I mean, there were some things that you kind of talked about, but you didn't really see it. And we now begin to see it. And people are becoming part of it, like we were talking about the bees just a minute ago. But like the little farmer's market that appears on Wednesdays up in across the Christ the King is a really important aspect of all that needs to be duplicated further around the city and in other food desert areas. Because it doesn't take a whole lot of folks to be there for it to be very effective. It doesn't take a lot of vendors to be there. You just have to be there. You have to give them so folks can come and find what they need. What happens is we go there, we buy too much and we don't cook it quick enough. That's what happens. But you have to provide those opportunities for more people to find more things, whether it is, things that are grown local to Fayette County or just close by, but everything up there in all those facts are that. And I think we just need to continue to nurture towards that end and to provide people the opportunity. I mean, our bees failed twice. I told you that. And we tried to garden in the ground, and that's been a little bit picked over. And then we tried to fence it off. Now we're trying to garden out of the water troughs that were turned in. We've done everything we can to keep everybody from eating what we're growing, but it's just not working right yet. Or else our tomatoes are so good they eat every one of them offline before we do. So there's some things that need to be, what is true of me is true of the populace. We need to find more ways to bring more people to the conversation for themselves and with a positive outcome. Because, I'm trying to put the kind of chicken mark stuff over the top of this. I don't know, I'm doing something wrong. Because something's eating our stuff before we get to it. But we're going to continue to try to get it right. All right, so that was the first two.
Yes, and so the second part of that is environmental and energy issues. So the biggest environment and energy issues impacting Lexington, and how do you propose we address them?
Well, that's almost kind of what we were just talking about in the previous one, which has to do with, the complaint was, the observation was that Lexington doesn't have enough streets, enough big streets, or enough, I guess, highways. I don't know what, there was a question asked of me, you could not provide an answer for, because you could talk about some of the problems there. But you have to find a way for people to not have to have a certain conveyance to get to and from work. And we've gone from kind of painting bike lanes in to making bike lanes part of the conversation to even going all in to become a city and have streets that have sidewalks on them. Because Tate Street did not have a sidewalk on it up until about 10 years ago, which is just amazing. And when you look around the city, there are other places that still don't have parts of Richmond Road don't have a sidewalk. It's just something we have to have a mind. The answer to the question is we have to have a mindset. We have to have a mindset that sets a lofty goal for further out. And to do that, you have to find a way for people to not have to have one conveyance to get to and from. You need to give them the opportunity to have more than one way around. And let that play into making things better, because they can grow some things at their home, they can work and live close by and all those things, and or have a dependable mode of transportation to and from that, so that they don't have to go out and fire up whatever it is or plug it in, whatever they go and do. So, broad answer. Big question, broad answer.
Fair trade. Okay, well, I'll open it up to the room. Any questions that you have on agriculture, food, environment, and energy for Mr. Farmer?
Repeat offender here.
It's true. I left for a second, I'm back.
Yes.
I have a
Brandon,
question.
since
You
you-
repeat offender on that.
You can't ask the question.
I won't ask the same question, I promise. How do you see it? Well, let me start here. There's a large part of our community that's rural, that is outside the urban services boundary, that's in our rural community. How do you see the difference between your experience as representing a district, in the 5th district, versus being an at-large representative that encompasses both our kind of urban core and also a rural area? How do you see your role as the council at large representing both the rural area now and the city proper?
I think it's just exciting opportunity. I mean, you get to know more people, you get to see more neighborhoods, you get to experience more styles of living and more ways of doing. And I don't think, one of the things you learn to begin with about being a council member is, the most underdeveloped of all of our senses is the one to listen. And I think that, I always, in serving on council, I never had to have something I had to say every time, but you have to be able to listen to everybody. And a lot of times, coming from a background in retail, in a family business, if you just listen to the client will tell you what they want, what they need. I think part of the thing for me is just to be able to listen to everybody and what their needs are, and then try to place together from the years of experience, what's the best way to get from point A to point B for you in that situation. And I gotta tell you, were you here for this last one just now? You were. I had something said to me afterwards that by one of the participants that I've never had anyone ever say to me before and stop me. This person said, because this was about the traffic thing, and this person said, well, the problem is there's just too many horse lines. That was the answer. That shocked me.
To traffic?
Yes. To me, that's like, are we going to cut an arm off here and we can drive across over there? It was just, I think though, let's sum that up to some desperation on the part of some commuters, let's say. So we need to listen to that and try to bring it in, but I just don't think that's, I had never heard those words before. And it really daunted me for a moment there, and I kind of said that to that person because I was like, I don't know that's kind of, but then they said, well, that's the problem with not just the city, but the whole state, which I found another large detraction to the conversation. There are great people in every neighborhood, whether it's one with streetlights or one with fences. We need to see what the needs are there and try to service them. And that's what you try to do. Meet people where they are, meet them where they need to be, whether it's something on Main Street or something on Jacks Creek Pike. You gotta go with it. And I think that's the other subtle thing about having been on council for 20 years and having grown up in Lexington and been a part of the community and all over the county, is bringing that to bear at a certain time and place so that you can help that person, those people, that neighborhood, that issue to move from problem to fruition. That was good therapy. That just happened. I was like, are we going to go? Is that really what you said? It shocked me. Anyway.
Yes.
So speaking of energy, there's been a really push lately towards electric and hybrid vehicles, but we're seeing issues with shops being able to work on them, places to charge them, and a lot of the country is very interested in where we're going to go with our vehicles. What do you think Lexington can do with that? How do you feel about electric vehicles?
I think they're ideal for certain applications. There's the ideal. I think though you need to kind of go to the top end and answer there. There's money and resources going to come to bear here in the next couple of years, from what I understand, the legislation that's been passed nationally that would bring the opportunity for certainly more charging stations. I don't know what your part about